Hello, everyone. You're listening to the MSC Performance Podcast. My name is Kitti, and today I'm joined by a really, really special guest. Her name is Hariyali Barot, and she's been the physiotherapist for the Indian Weightlifting Team since 2020. Hello, Hari.
Hello, Kitti.
How are you doing?
Good.
Good.
How are
Good.
you?
I'm good, thank you. So I'm super excited to have you on here. I think that our members would be really interested to hear your experiences with the weightlifting team and your experiences from this past month training in MSC. So for listeners who doesn't know, the Indian weightlifting team has been at MSC for the past month. They've been preparing for the Commonwealth Games here. So I thought I'd invite Hari to have a conversation. So to start off, I just wanted to kind of ask you to kind of introduce yourself and talk about your educational background a little bit. Where are you from? What have you been doing? Career-wise.
Sure. Firstly, I'm quite excited to have this podcast and share my experience. So, I started my weightlifting career in 2013, and that's where I joined my graduation school. And I have done it from India itself, from the south part of India, which is Karnataka. It is a 4.5 years course, so I finished it by 2018, and then I joined Reliance Foundation Hospital, which had a sports medicine department, and they were quite good in Mumbai to work along and have an experience. So they have been working with IPL cricket teams who play for IPL, and many elite players used to come there, even the club level athletes, but then it had a mixture of good people coming in to start with. Also the sports science setup and the practical things, whatever were practiced, were quite good. So I think I started really well, and that experience at immediately after graduation helped me to gain knowledge in right way to start. And then I still work with Reliance Foundation, and they
nice.
have
I didn't know that.
So I the same foundation posted me with Indian Weightlifting Team as they collaborated with the federation. So
that's how you kind of get into like the Indian weightlifting
and
team.
Then I started as an intern there. So we had an option if we want to work in the hospital or if we want to work with the teams. So I always wanted to travel with the teams and like have on-ground experiences. So luckily I got it in 2020 March.
So good. That's so good. I think I quite like the fact that we've talked about this like off air before.
Yes.
But the fact that you kind of went straight into like the sports side of things and you worked with athletes straight away, and you haven't really had that experience with general population, but that's always what you wanted to do.
Correct.
Anyway, so that's really good.
I think like I could isolate towards what I wanted since the start. Yes. Now another thing is that when the general population asks me for help, I put up the sports knowledge. So but then I think for the active life, like everyone is into, I think even the general population is into having some basic sport in their life, as simple as like running or something like that. So this experience is again going in a right way.
It gives you a different insight, I guess, when you're working with elite athletes.
Correct.
But so you have relocated in March 2020 and started with the Indian weightlifting team. So I kind of just wanted to ask, I'm curious, what was like your first impression with the team? How did you like settle in? How was that experience of coming into a new club or a new team and just starting working with them? How was that for you?
It was like I was nervous, I was happy at the same time, and then suddenly out of nowhere, we got COVID times coming in. So exactly in March 2020, at the end of the month, like in 15 days, I hear that everything is going to shut. So we were supposed to stay in the hostel, not even in the campus. So the gates of our hostels were locked, and then I had to train all the athletes inside. So for 3 straight months, like when I came in, I thought I'll have competitions for the athletes. I have to learn the game faster and how the process goes on. But then on the other end, I on ground had to manage the psychological part of athletes. I had to manage the off-season part of it. The good part was that I got to, I got time to understand the sport better. I got time to work with athletes on their biomechanical issues more, which wouldn't have been if I had competitions in line. It worked out well at the end, I feel.
I think it's really good that you kind of had that time to like settle in, and what you said, like that off season for them basically. And I think it's also interesting with the sport of weightlifting, it's not so straightforward as in like team sports in like football or rugby or whatever, where you've got like those in season, pre-season, whatever. With weightlifting, you've got so many competitions lined up like after each other, and you having that time, like that off time, has probably give you the chance to get to know your athletes a little bit more. Have you done any like testing with them, or I'm assuming that's how you kind of started?
I started with musculoskeletal screening for them when I joined. That is very important, I feel, when a new physiotherapist is joining, because you need to understand how overall an athlete is, the body pattern is working, how every joint is functioning. And you, of course, now I will have findings in my screening which are objective, but then it should also match maybe that fault is helping the athlete in the training. So then the part the picture is also discussed with coach, and then I cannot like make the screening to work in objective way only. It has to be, and it has to be from coach's side that this thing is helping him, but the other thing is not. And also athlete needs to bring up some issue related to my finding. If for example, if someone had a shoulder pain, so there should be a history of tightness or some pain, or even the technical fault that he's unable to push at the same time bilaterally. So that should match my objective finding, and then we start working. So
that's an interesting point that you're bringing up there. That actually leads on to my next question for you. So I'm just wondering what kind of your role entails within the team, because you're working as a team with weightlifting coaches and physiotherapists as well. So how big is your team? What does your specific role entail in that? So if you want to just talk us through that.
So the team includes coaches, physiotherapists, and the athletes for now. As weightlifting is a symmetrical sport, that's again a different thing from other sports. I think we work more on the dominant side to have a good output. But in weightlifting, when I started again, the differences on the left and right were like just 98 to 100%. But that 2% is so much important for an athlete to bring out maximum output. So that's where the fine things started working in. So we have worked on biomechanical issues a lot, but now I have been working since 2020, and now we realize that we have filled up that gap, and even athletes have realized how and what pattern they need to work on. But the another thing that is still lacking is the strength and conditioning part. So after getting the rehabilitation done, when the athlete wants to step back to sport, and that return of sport needs an S&C coach also. So we have started thinking on that part in our team, and we are trying to fill up that gap. But now the gap is so coach will be knowing this S&C part, and at the same time a physiotherapist will know what exact exercises do I need to put in according to the complaints. But to maximize the output after the rehabilitation is where we need to fill up the gap. So the addition in our team will be an S&C coach if we do.
I think it's when we first had a chat about this, I found it really interesting because so for example, in other sports, let's say football, for example, you have that technical tactical coach, and then you've got the strength and conditioning coach. Like, it's very distinctive what the two are doing. Obviously there's the technique side of things, and then there's the strength and conditioning. So it's very like the line between them is like quite clear, I think. When it comes to weightlifting, I think the line gets quite blurred because you need the technical coach, but they are dipping into the strength and conditioning side of things, and you are coming from physiotherapy background, and you are doing injury prevention, screening, things like that, recovery, but you are dipping into coaching as well. And I think because you don't have that S&C addition to your team, you probably dipping into coaching a little bit more than a normal physiotherapist, which I found it quite interesting. But I think from an S&C point of view, what's probably useful for you guys, or what could be useful, is almost like a sports scientist who's looking into testing, looking into maybe rate of force development on force plates, things like that, collecting data. And then the conditioning side of things like speed work, things like that. But so I found that really
these
interesting.
are the exact areas where we're lacking, and we have taken support of the S&C coaches that we have. We have in our foundation, but then we don't have anyone all time on ground. So if we have that, then there are more inputs coming in, there's more work. So we're just trying to figure out where
exactly
because the roles are not specified in this sport. We're just trying to understand where can that role help us.
You kind of need to find that gap and figure out where it can give value to you. But it's a really interesting one. So I just
basically we need Kitti.
Don't say that on air. I don't want Mark to listen to this. But moving on. So I was just really keen about, we talked about your role and things like that. But I just wanted to know, when you joined the team, what did you find were your biggest challenges with working with them? And how did it change you as a practitioner? Are there any things that you've learned from them? Is there anything you are doing differently now because you've been working with them? So if you just want to talk a little bit about that.
I think there are a lot of things, but I would like to mention two important things. One is that when I got an opportunity with weightlifting team, weights was something that I was completely away from, and I used to, being a physiotherapist and being someone who has practiced free weight exercises and more into having the mobility good and some good yoga work done.
Just movement patterns and things like that.
I used to work more on having the basic movement correct. But then after joining weightlifting team, I realized that the muscle mass, the actual practical thing about having muscle mass and why is it important to build up. It's not only for the just to have muscles, not only for show, but then also to
strength,
the actual strength, to let those joints work properly.
Yeah.
And even in daily life, not only if you're doing some heavy work, it's equally important for someone who has desk job also.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So
if not more important.
Yes,
like,
not even moving, like the desk job, which is like very common in today's life. So that's where I started realizing, and I also started practicing. Then when I had to apply it for my weightlifting athletes, I started I'm not still into snatches and clean and jerk, but I do practice the strengthening part of it, like deadlift and squats. Even if it's with lightweight, just to understand the movement patterns, so that I use them, and I try to use my knowledge and the experience with the athletes. So yeah, that has helped me. And the other thing I feel is the discipline of every
I'm so
athlete.
glad you bring that up. Yeah, let's talk about that.
That's, I mean, the day I entered for internship, I had one of the weightlifting athlete only, who's currently in our team, and she's like one of the elite athletes of Indian Weightlifting Team, Mirabai Chanu. So she was like my first athlete whom I saw. So
what a first athlete to have. Oh my goodness.
I think I was always somewhere connected to weightlifting.
Oh, I love that. Yes.
So she was very disciplined. She used to be right there at 8 a.m. for her training, very disciplined in her mobility, and to warm up for the session. Even in the session, the discipline that she had, and the determination that she had to get her rehabilitation done and to get back to sport is something. I mean, the way we handle downs in our normal life, you actually need to learn from athletes, I feel, because they are someone who are highlighted in their downs more than their highs. Of course, highs are highlighted in a different way. That's like the good part of it. But then there's more stress, I feel, in their downs. And
of course, definitely.
So and they are someone who are the best people, I feel, to learn.
That mental toughness and just pushing past the point where I don't know, like for me it's so obviously I've been watching the athletes train over here as well for this past month, and I just feel like I admire them so much. It's like you can see in their eyes and on their faces as well, whenever someone steps up to that platform, it's like there's nothing else outside of that. It's like it's just you, the bar, and that lift, and
they want to give everything.
And it's just, for me, like I said to the guys the other day, when we were watching you guys on Saturday last week, you were doing some heavy training, and we were watching that, and I said to them that I could literally just sit here for 3 hours and watch this. So entertained by it,
and you feel so motivated with the energy. So it's not easy to have the same energy, but then they are someone who need that inner motivation also, not only someone just cheering up, but they need that inner motivation every morning, every training that they do, even if it's lightweight. They need to work on their techniques. There are so many things that they have in their schedule, and they still manage to do it. On the other end, when someone who's on the normal routine pattern, we wouldn't be so determined and so dedicated, and we would just skip that day. But I think they have that realization by now, being international athletes, that they need to, like, that one training if missed would affect. So
do you feel like
all these things, earlier I had this, like, when I'm not feeling recovered, I'm not feeling great, I just would plan to like skip the day or have light work. But then sometimes you need to push yourself. So that started coming in from the athletes.
And I think it's like having that balance as well, knowing when to be like, okay, you need to take a step back and really focus on recovery. But then when is there the point where you're like, okay, you gotta push through this a little bit, and
Yes.
especially
The
with these
balance.
athletes, I think that's more so the case where you have to push through these things.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was super interesting. So yeah, just talking about like the preparation for the Commonwealth Games. Obviously, you've been here in Birmingham for a month now. You've been training with us for a month. How was that for you? How was it for the athletes? What are your experiences?
Yeah, this is an exciting question. I'll tell you the actual experience. So, yeah, like firstly, having Birmingham being the host city was exciting for all of us, and yeah, so the group started working 1 year back, and the qualifying events also started for them.
Yeah.
And once the qualification was done, there were 15 athletes selected in the team. And then when we came in here, day one, we saw the banner at MSC Gym, and it was so motivating. And even I think before that, I'm not sure if athletes had checked, but I had checked the page where they're going to train.
Oh, I love that.
For two things. One is like, how is the gym? And second thing is, because I was a physiotherapist, I wanted to know if the equipments are available. And if not, I had to carry along. So I checked in, and then I saw, oh, they have like, you know, the posts and all, welcoming Indian team. And so it was quite exciting. When we came in, there were other athletes training. So we have a setup where only weightlifting team practices. So it's so when we came in here, there were interval trainings happening and very intense trainings. So it was like the energy here was very positive. One is the banner.
I'm so glad to hear about that. You know, if listeners don't know, when the team came, we have put up on the wall a big banner that says "Welcome to Birmingham" for the Indian Weightlifting Team. So that's what we're referring to right now. But yeah.
So and the energy of all the athletes. So one thing I learned was that. So I've been working, like I mentioned, that the symmetry is important, and having that 100% quality is very important for the athletes in every exercises. But at the same time, I also saw that sometimes, like, I can have for few exercises to bring up the results. This is what I learned here.
Yes.
That you know, not all the exercising people have great forms, but then they can have the motivation to get there with good energy, with good exercises, like with the high intensity training pattern. So yeah, this was something that I have added in my mind.
Oh, nice. So nice. I like that.
So, and yeah, like the command and everything, like the whole energy used to be really positive. And even athletes used to get excited. So as simple as having back-to-back exercises. So they used to get motivated to do it. So I'll tell you, after skill training sessions, they are a little exhausted. So they want to do the exercises with breaks. But then they used to see the general population working back-to-back in the exercise, even if they are drained. And also we had limited time in the gym. So it used to be better for me to motivate them.
So they learned that here as well. Okay.
So that was the good part.
Oh, that's amazing. That's so nice to hear that you.
So this 1 month has been perfect for us to work.
That's so good. I'm so happy to hear that you're taking something away from the experience you had here. That's amazing. Now, just coming to the end of the conversation, just to wrap it up a little bit. Obviously, you've been here for a month now, and you are working a lot. Like, we see you twice a day for a couple of hours, but you have some time off outside of training, and I know that you have explored Birmingham a little bit. So do you just want to talk about how you liked Birmingham, how you found it, any particular places that you went that you enjoyed, or anything? Just spill it out.
Yes. So yes, I feel you were the one who started guiding me to the places around.
That's
So yeah, I tried to cover all of them. First thing I would tell about Birmingham is like I like the pattern of the buildings, the architecture, having similar patterns at one road, and that looks nice. So the architecture part was the first thing that we all enjoyed. And then the places that I had been to, one of my favorite place is the canal side. Like it's so peaceful and so nice.
Yeah, for long walks and stuff, just having a drink next to it.
It was amazing.
I agree.
So,
did you go out for food or anything? Any particular places that you enjoyed or anything?
Yeah, the city center area has a different life. I feel it's like quite active and nice. So I had been to restaurants too, and the food was good. I feel I don't know if I should
so just for the listeners, we talked about this off air that Hari and the team have tried quite a lot of food, but it's very different from like Indian food, I would say. Like you're probably used to something really vibrant, really maybe spicy and stuff. And with English food,
I want to share one part. So yes, we did enjoy the food here, but Indians miss the spice. So we started searching for chilies after a few days, and then just add them in our food, and then everything was fine.
That made it for you.
The English food with spice.
Oh, that's funny. I like that. Okay, so now we're gonna just wrap this up for now. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for sharing your experience.
Thank you so much for talking.
Oh no, it's fine. I think we're all with the team. Just want to say we really appreciate you just coming on here and sharing your energy with us and with the members as well. It was lovely to have you on here for a month. I said to the guys that it's actually going to be very different now when you're gone, because tomorrow is your last day here. I think I got used to like the busyness of the gym, and like as you said, that like the energy was different as well, because all of these athletes are working so hard. You can feel the determination in the air and everything. So I'm sure we're definitely going to miss you. So thank you so much for coming.
Both ways, I think. We have already discussed that. Oh, this is the last, like we have only 2 days left for the in this gym and traveling here.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for coming on to the podcast as well, and we wish you the very best for the Commonwealth Games. Good luck to all of the athletes. I'm personally going to be on there. I bought a couple of tickets, so I'll see you there. But yeah, thank you so much again.
Thank you. It was great.